and welcome back to Aamsuntitledpodcast. I'm Am. Hi, if you've never met me before, it's really nice to meet you. Welcome to my Percy Jackson dedicated podcast. In today's episode, we are going to be chatting through part 3 of the Lost Hero book, which is chapters 15 to 21. If you don't know how this works, I basically just give you a rundown of the main things that have happened in the chapter, and I talk about my thoughts and feelings on it, any references I can make, that sort of thing. I just wanted to say before we get into today's episode that this will be one of my last uploads for the year. Isn't that scary? Like this is going to be probably my second to last upload for the year. And it's nearly Christmas. Like as I'm recording this, it's the 20th of December, and I wanted to give you guys a little Christmas gift from me, which was this episode. And I will have an episode probably just go up just before the new year. I'm not really sure what day I want to put it up because I've got a few plans for Christmas Day, Boxing Day, that sort of thing. But before New Year's Eve, there'll be the last episode for the year gone up. And I don't know if it's just because I started the podcast, but I feel like this year has just absolutely flown by. And like I'm already on 60 episodes in the podcast. Like I just think that that's absolutely insane. And I just wanted to thank anyone who's a subscriber, who listens on Spotify, follows me on Instagram or on Threads. I just wanted to say a huge thank you. You guys have made the first, I want to say, nearly year of being on this podcast so fun, and I've thoroughly enjoyed it. And I really feel hurt when I can't upload an episode. So yeah, I hope you guys continue to enjoy my content. Welcome to my family. I love you guys all as a family, and you know, I just wanted to say I want everybody to have a great Christmas, even if you don't celebrate it. And I'll say the Happy New Year stuff in the next episode because I feel like it's weird for me to say that and then come back. So yeah, let's get into today's episode. So chapter oh dear, I'm losing my chapter 15 is Piper's point of view. So the chapter opens up with Piper in the Aphrodite cabin and she sees a poster of her dad. So if you guys didn't know, Piper's dad is a famous movie star, and in the cabin, she meets Mitchell and Lacey, who give her a bag of equipment to use on her quest. And of course, Drew, being the queen bee that she is and the absolute bitch that she is, excuse my French, she starts annoying Piper and she reveals to all the Aphrodite cabin that Tristan McLean is Piper's dad, and everybody, of course, because he's a famous movie star, makes a big fuss. So, in other words, Drew knows that Piper doesn't like that kind of attention, and she probably doesn't want to be known by who her dad is, and obviously, Drew's just gonna put that out there, which is a classic bitchy, mean girl move. But yeah, I was just like, I could not believe that someone could stoop to that level of a low to upset someone, but whatever. Piper learns about the rite of passage for an Aphrodite child. Why can't I talk? So basically, this rite of passage is that to prove that they are a true worthy daughter of Aphrodite, they have to make someone fall for them and break their heart. Wow. That do you know when I read that, I was a bit like, wow, that's really cruel. Why do you need to prove your worthiness by hurting someone? I just don't agree with that. And I remember reading it and like I wish I could record my facial expressions when I'm reading because I'm quite an expressive person. Like obviously you guys can't tell because I'm on the podcast so you can't see my face. But like I'm very expressive and I have friends tell me all the time they're like, even if you don't say anything, your face literally comes with subtitles. Like we can tell what you're thinking. And I think that at that moment when I read that, I was just so shocked. I was thinking, yeah, I know Aphrodite was a bit of a player and she cheats on her husband and stuff, but I just thought that that was a bit too far personally. Just proves I couldn't be a child of Aphrodite. Let's just put it like that. Drew tells them that Selena, as you know, died in the last Olympian book. She was the spy at Camp Half Blood, but she died a hero because she managed to convince Clarice to come and help them win the Great War, basically. And yeah, she Drew basically makes this excuse that Selena died because she chose to stay in love with Charles, which is absolutely not true. Like those two were a really cute couple. Berkendorf sacrificed his life to save Camp, and so did Selena. So in a way, their souls would meet in Elysium anyway because they both um died heroes, but I just thought that that was really harsh, and I was like, yeah, I really don't like Drew, and I'm just like, yeah, whatever she does just pisses me off, and as you guys can see, there's an absolute reason why I don't like her. Piper also tells her cabin mates that they don't have to listen to Drew. And obviously, Drew is currently the head counselor of the Aphrodite cabin, although I would not be listening to a word she says, but I'm a bad influence, so don't listen to me. She tells them that there is more to being an Aphrodite girl than this sort of stuff, and she promises herself that she will never ever go back to that cabin. Now, I can see why she doesn't want to go back, but at the same time, like, whether she likes it or not, like, that Aphrodite is her mother, and she will have to face that at some point. But for the time being, I guess she's going to get away with it because she's going to the quest. And the chapter closes with her seeing the dragon. Chapter 16 is again Piper's point of view, and it opens up with Piper screaming at Leo because she sees him riding the dragon. Leo's lands the dragon and Piper thinks it's absolutely beautiful. You know what? One thing that I'm going to talk about a lot on the podcast, and I don't know if anybody else talks about it as much, but you know, Piper and Leo's friendship is honestly like the cutest thing, and I can't wait to talk about some of their moments because they're just like, you know, like platonic, like BFFs and soulmates. They're just so nice to each other, and yeah, we'll talk more about their moments. Like, there's some really cute things that happen in this book that I can't wait to share with you guys. Jason tells the campers to stand down, and Leo says that he's found them a ride. So, if you don't remember, I can't remember if it's in part one or part two of my book review, but Jason tells Leo that he can be a questmate if he finds them a ride to get them to start the quest, and obviously that's what Leo's done. Um, Nissa realizes that the dragon has wings, and Leo says that he's found them and reattached them. He's so clever. Honestly, you know, Leo, like, as goofy as he is and as unserious as he is so clever. And obviously that goes down to being a child of Hephaestus, but also the fact that his mother was very good at that sort of stuff as well. So you see kind of a reflection of both of his parents in him, which is what I love about that. Annabeth tells them to go as the dragon is a sign of good omen. So, guys, even Annabeth is saying, like, now is the best time to start the quest. And I'm kind of happy that Annabeth isn't on this quest. She has better things to do, like finding Percy. So, yeah, it's a new adventure for the three of them. They all get on the dragon and fly off, and the chapter ends with Piper seeing Jason holding a picture of a girl, and Jason tells them that they are going to find the Wind of the North. So obviously Piper is unaware about Thalia being Jason's half sister, so I'm assuming she thinks that it's a girl that he used to like, but obviously that's not true. We know that, but she doesn't. I just thought it was really funny. I just had to point it out. Chapter 17 is again Leo's point of view, and it opens up with Piper hearing Leo talking to himself. So he sort of does this a lot. There's a couple of times in the book where he's one of those people that think out loud. Like, he sort of, I don't know what the right word is. I'm sure there's lots of people out there, including myself, that do this as well, where it's like you're talking to yourself because that's the way that you can express yourself, if that makes sense. I don't know if that's the right way to word it, but yeah, that's what I was thinking of. And Jason says that he wants to find Dylan and tells them about his dreams. So obviously, Jason's been having these reoccurring dreams, and normally in dreams gives you hints of the coming threat, I guess. Like, it used to happen to Percy a lot in the first five books, and now obviously we're seeing it happen to Piper and Jason. Not so much Leo. Leo only has a few here and there, but again, they all have details of what the quest is entailed. And basically, it's Rick's way of planting the seeds of something that he's going to water later. Did you like my analogy there? Very clever. I'm just kidding. Jason finds out about Piper's dad, Tristan McLean, obviously the superstar. And like I said, guys, remember Piper's dad. Like, he is the invisible string in this. Like, he is mentioned a lot in this book, and he contributes to this quest quite a bit. So please just keep him in mind. Rick is going to pull that thread later. I will talk more in detail about him when the time comes, and they sit there discussing about the giants that they're going to face. Because if you haven't worked it out already, the giants are going to be a huge part of this book, but also the rest of the books in the series. So you need to keep an eye out for the interesting names of giants that are thrown around. Leo also tells them about his psychotic baby sister. So, baby sister, babysitter is what I meant, or baby sister. He doesn't have any siblings. And if you didn't know, so basically, he had this psycho babysitter um, called Aunt Callida. Is that how you say it? I don't know if that's the right way to say it. But in other words, she killed his mom, basically. Leo, I talked a lot about Leo's sad backstory in the previous episode. So if you want to hear more about that, listen to that episode first, because I talk a bit more about his side of the story. And it's really sad, and I don't want to get emotional on the podcast. So I'm going to just hold that together. They also speak about the repercussions of Hera being sacrificed. You know, at this point in time, like, if she was sacrificed by the giants, I really don't see a problem with it. I'm just like, yeah, okay. I know that she's immortal and whatever, but I wouldn't be too upset if something happened to her. Given everything that she put Percabeth through, I'm just like, yeah, I don't care, woman. I genuinely don't care. And the chapter ends with them continuing to fly to the palace of, I don't know if it's Boreas? Boreas? I think it's Boreas. I don't know. Feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. And Piper tells Leo that he needs to sleep, and so he falls asleep on the dragon. Chapter 18 again is Leo's point of view. The chapter opens up with the trio arriving in Quebec. Jason tells them that they've got company, and it's the company of two dark angels. Now, I don't know if angels was the right word for this, but I'm pretty sure that's how it's worded in the book. And they meet Callias? 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 Is that how you say it? And Zethys. And he tries to flirt with Piper. Obviously, she's stunning. She's a daughter of Aphrodite. And at this point, I don't know if it bothers Jason. I don't know if he's figured that side of his feelings out yet. I can't remember. Guys, I took these notes back in July. It is now December. You are asking someone who can't remember what they did yesterday to remember what happened when they took the notes. And like, I try to keep my notes really simple because this is a nearly 8,000 word document. So I'm trying my best to remember certain things that I didn't write comments on. I think the way you say his name is Calais? Calais? They're both sons of Boreas, in other words. And Piper tells them that they need to find Boreas, and she makes the excuse that Festus is faulty. So she manages to basically charm speak them, which is a way of like manipulating them into letting them in. They land on the penthouse suite, and Jason thinks that something is very wrong. Now, there's this big idea. I don't know if Rick does this on purpose, but this is something that I've noticed, that it's always the child of the big three that notices or can feel a threat coming straight away. I used to notice it a lot in Percy's point of view, maybe because the books are written from his point of view. He would always sense danger before anyone else. Now, I don't know if that's a quality of being the child of the big three, or if that's just a main character quality. I have no idea, but I just always thought that that was really interesting. And the way Rick writes certain things is very like, he's such a clever author. To he gives you enough to work with and to get your mind ticking, but he also leaves you on the edge and gives you that element of suspense, which is what I love. Like, I love that he doesn't just tell you what you want to know straight away. I love that it makes you want to keep reading more, which is why I love his work. His body of work is just absolutely incredible for one of those reasons. That is one of the reasons why I love it so much. Just before they walk into the penthouse, Leo. This sounds so weird when you say it out loud. But basically, Leo presses a button and Festus turns into like a carry on. I know that sounds really weird, but I also think that that's really cool that he can just carry the dragon around and like press a button and he turns really small. I don't know. It's just weird. Does anybody else find that interesting? I thought that was pretty cool. It's a really cool idea that Rick had there. Cal says that he can smell fire, and Leo begs them to defend him. So this whole firepower, I I think Leo's already told Piper and Jason at this point. Like, from what I can remember, I'm sure it was in the last part where he tells them about it. Does he? I can't remember if that's now or later on where he talks about this power that he has. But yes, basically, Leo is one of the gifted children of Hephaestus, where he can bring fire with his own hands, which I think is pretty sick, if I'm completely honest. But I think it's been a big secret because his mom told him to keep it a secret, because obviously those children are viewed as um those children of Hephaestus are viewed as very, very dangerous. And of course, Leo's mom would never want him to be stereotyped as being dangerous, even though he's completely harmless. So, yeah, I thought that that was a really interesting thing that he tried to cover up and his powers pretty much straight away. Don't worry, like as the series gets along, there's a lot of development in his character where he doesn't feel the need to hide his powers anymore. But we'll come on to that a little bit later on. Jason reveals his name and he tells them that he's a son of Zeus, and he says that Piper and Leo are his crewmates. If that's the right term, questmates probably makes a lot more sense, but okay, whatever. Um, the two twins say that they're not twins, they're two brothers, sorry, not twins. They say that they have been waiting for Jason to show up so that their father can decide his fate. Well, that's definitely not good. A girl comes into the room, and let's just say Leo has an infatuation towards her. Oh God. Remember this girl. She's also very important. She appears quite a few times in this book and in the coming books, so just remember her. Her name's not important just yet. You'll get to know what her name is soon enough. Maybe in the next chapter. Hint, hint. The chapter ends with the girl telling Leo that he can't go in because fire and ice, obviously they're opposites. And she tells Cal to watch over Leo and says it's fine for Jason and Piper to leave. Yeah, the fact that they've even been split up is like the biggest sign that something is about to go horribly wrong. Um, it was like almost when Grover got split up from Percy and Annabeth in Sea of Monsters. Like you just know that something terrible is going to happen when the main trio are not together. Chapter 19 is Jason's point of view again. Jason sort of turns around to look at Piper for reassurance. Obviously, he's shitting himself and he's hoping that Piper is a lot more calm than he is. And from what I can remember, I don't think she is, basically. But they're trying to hold it together for each other's sake. And obviously, there's this. He's looking at this picture in his hand that he's carrying around. And it's a picture of Thalia, this half sister that he thought he'd lost forever, and now he's found out that it turns out she's actually out there, and she's a huntress, and she's she immortal? Yeah, she is, isn't she? Yeah, so like it's this like I can imagine like how many questions he must have, like, and it's almost like Rick is planting these seeds. Like he's very good at creating these threads that he can just pull on later on. And this bond between Jason and Thalia becomes really important. I think it is in this book, or is it in the next book when he meets her? Basically, there's a lot that goes on, and you'll get to see their equation a little bit more a little bit later on in the series, is what I'm trying to say. So Piper and Jason get led into the throne room, and the princess reveals that she's Khione, goddess of snow. So, yeah, like I said, she's very, very, very important. And the oak doors open, and Khione says that she hopes that they will survive this talk. And that's where the chapter ends. So it's a really, really short chapter. Um, but I think it was one of those chapters where it was like it's more about Jason and how he's feeling, and obviously the questions that he has about obviously what's gone on in his past because he can't remember anything. All of a sudden, he's remembered Thalia. Piper and him are in danger. Leo is outside. Like there's a lot going on, and I think Rick just wanted this chapter to go in just to sort of show the audience that he's got a lot going through his mind, basically, without explicitly saying that. So, chapter 20, the second to last chapter we're going to be talking about in this episode, is Jason's point of view again, and it's opens up with them meeting the king, and he speaks in French, so Piper obviously communicates with him in French as well. Jason obviously questions her about this ability, but Piper doesn't even realize that she's done it. Wow, a bilingual. That's pretty cool, actually. I think that's sick that she can speak two languages. The king says that um, he has orders from Aeolus? Is that how you say it? Aeolus? To kill them, basically. Oh, what a surprise. He has orders to get them killed. That's not shocking at all. Um, and the frozen statues that are surrounding this throne room are actually of demigods that have been killed, basically. Isn't that just absolutely horrible? Like, malicious. and evil can you possibly be that you have a throne room with statues of people that you've killed? Just think that's a little bit what's the nice word I'm looking for here? Uh I can't think of the word. I don't know what the word is. Um I'm normally really good with this sort of stuff. Like I can think of the word, but the words just slip my mind. How diabolical. That's it. That's the word. That's the word I was thinking of. How diabolical can you possibly be? Jason tells them about the quest, and they find out that Coach Hedge is actually alive because obviously he went missing at the beginning when they went to the Grand Canyon, and it turns out that he's actually alive. Piper begs the king to help. Um, what's the? I forgot what the name. Yeah, so she begs him to help them, and Khione, being the absolute pain that she is, says that no, they shouldn't, and they should just follow Aeolus's commands. Oh, honestly, who asked her opinion? Like, no one cares what she has to say. The king notices the tattoo on Jason's arm. Again, that tattoo is really important. You know, Jason and Percy are very, very different. Like, they're very different, and you'll notice that. And the fact that obviously Jason is younger, but he has this tattoo just shows that he's from a completely different world, which is really important, and that difference is very evident throughout the series. But again, we'll come more to that later on. There's not really much I can say, right? Boreas decides not to kill them, but he tells them that they will find the wind spirit in Chicago and that Alias will know where Hera has been imprisoned. So, in other words, they've got to basically walk themselves into a trap to save Hera. At this point, I would have just left her. I would have been like, yeah, that's not worth it. Like, she doesn't deserve to be helped. I really hate Hera. Can you guys tell? Really don't like her. I'm just like, yeah, okay, whatever. He asks Zethus to escort them outside, and they meet back up with Leo. And Zethus warns them that something worse is coming that Alias will tell them about. And they leave for Chicago. So basically, they just about scraped their way out of that situation. Now, what threat do you think Alias is talking about? I don't know. Aeolus? Alias? I don't know how to pronounce some of these Greek words, they really do throw me off. If I'm saying it wrong, please feel free to tell me because like I'll be very honest with you, I'm not sure. I'm saying it the way like I read it when I read the book. So if I'm completely wrong, please do let me know. I was completely wrong about the way you say Luke's last name as well, but let's not even go there. Okay, so the last chapter we're going to be talking about is chapter 21. Now, a lot happens in this chapter, and I'm going to be leaving you guys on a bit of a cliffhanger, so please don't hate me. But, okay, let's do it. So the chapter opens up with Jason praising Piper. Obviously, she managed to get them out of a tricky situation. But something tells me that maybe she's not necessarily so proud of that, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in a bit. Leo is upset about Khione. Oh, for goodness sake. Get a grip. Like, the guy met her for like all of 2 minutes and was infatuated with her. I'm sure he'll get over it. Piper knows that Jason and Leo, I don't know if it's Jason or Leo is hiding something from her. And she's sitting there thinking about Coach Hedge. Obviously, he gave well not gave his life, but he sacrificed himself to save them, and obviously if they're not willing to do the same, then they're not worthy of being saved, I think, is the way that she thinks about it. She also thinks that she might be a traitor like Selena. Now, that is such a big that one line is such a big thing. Is like you'll see throughout this book, like Piper is in constant turmoil in this book. Like she's always stuck between choosing her friends or choosing her family, basically. And it's such a big decision for her. And she honestly evolves so much in this book as well. And the choices that she makes her so strong. And it's also one of the reasons why she is like such a great character. Like she's strong, she's confident. Like even though she's a daughter of Aphrodite, like she's not a typical daughter of Aphrodite that's obsessed with the way that she looks or only cares about what's on the outside or breaking people's hearts. Like she's nothing like that, and that's what I respect and love about her so much. She says that her grandpa Tom loved the Greeks, so so she's always had a connection to her demigod side of the life even if she didn't realize it, which I also think is so clever. Honestly, the way Rick creates a foundation of a story needs to be assessed because he just does it so well and so seamlessly. It's honestly like insane. Piper realizes that she's really tired and she leans herself against Jason's chest and falls asleep. Unfortunately, her sleep is not peaceful at all, and she has a dream where she hears a voice telling her that she has forgotten her duty and that her father is being held hostage. I told you guys, remember her dad because he is so important in this book. Um, the voice tells her to betray her friends and the destination is somewhere she knows. So, in other words, Piper is very much like Percy, where it's a lot of the prophecy for this has been aimed towards her. Like, obviously, Jason and Leo are part of this prophecy as well, but Piper is sort of the center of the Giants' attention and the person that she cares about. Obviously, in the first few books, in Percy's case was his mom, and obviously in Piper's case it's her dad. So it's very like Rick uses similar ideas but creates a completely different story, which I just love him for. She tells the voice that she will save her father and her friends, and she wakes up and they're falling through the air. And that's all I'm going to tell you. We'll have to tune into the next episode to hear what happens after that. So let's just kind of round this up. So that ending cliffhanger was very like intense. I remember like not wanting to put the book down because I was like, no, I just need to know. I need to know what happens next. Obviously, we'll talk more about that in the next episode. Don't worry, there's still one more episode that's going to go up before the end of this year. Don't worry. Honestly, Drew was the biggest pain in the ass. I don't know who the hell made her the head counselor after Selena. Like, I know Selena made a mistake, but Selena was such a nice girl. Like, all anybody would talk about was how lovely she was and how cordial and nice she was to everybody. I don't know where they found Drew from, but whatever. Obviously, Leo landing that dragon was absolutely iconic. Like, trust him to find a ride that's a dragon. And another thing is that Leo isn't very good at hiding his secret. It's one of those things where people know about it, but like there has to be like a big reveal a little bit later on. Um and I don't know why the king's character sort of made me laugh. I know I shouldn't be laughing, like he could have been potentially very dangerous. I mean, for goodness sake, he had a entire throne room full of frozen demigods, so I should have been scared. I just don't know why it made me laugh. Maybe that's just like the dark sense of humor in my personality. I don't know. And obviously that cliffhanger right at the end, guys. You have to tune into the next episode to find out what's next. So that's everything. Thank you guys so much for listening in. I really hope you enjoyed today's episode. Don't forget, all episodes are available to stream on Spotify and on my YouTube channel. Both are at Aamsuntitledpodcast. Follow me on Spotify. Please do subscribe to my YouTube channel whilst you are there. It would be greatly appreciated. I always forget towards the end of the video what I'm supposed to be saying. Yeah. Follow me on Instagram. Follow me on Threads to be the first to know when a new um video goes live. What else was I going to say? There's something else I'm supposed to mention. Also, guys, it's been a year since Percy Jackson season 1 aired. Isn't that just crazy? 1 year. 1 year! I saw it yesterday. I was like, no way, it's been a year. Hopefully, by this time next year, we will have season 2 to talk about because I'm going mad. Like, I literally cannot wait to see what they do in season 2. I was so impressed with season 1. Like, I'm literally like on the edge to find out what they come up with next. And they wrap up filming next month. So I'm hoping we'll get a little teaser or something. If we do, I'll let you guys know. I'll be really excited. It will be on Threads, it will be on Instagram, and it will be here on my podcast on my YouTube channel and on Spotify. But yeah, I can't wait to see what they come up with. And if anybody from the cast and crew is listening, all the best. Like honestly, they're such a dream team, and I can't wait to see them carry this on for the next like until we finish the first 5 books, basically. I'm hoping we get renewed for season 3. I'm praying that we get renewed for season 3. But anyway, that was besides what I was talking about. I just wanted to say Merry Christmas, enjoy the holidays, have lots of fun, stay safe, everyone, obviously. Like I said, this is not my last upload before the end of the year, so don't worry, there'll be a new episode that goes up sometime next week, after Christmas Eve, obviously. But yeah, have a great time with your loved ones. Enjoy enjoy spending time with people. It doesn't come around often. I know it sounds really cheesy, but you don't know what's coming in the new year, so just appreciate what you've got right now. And I will be speaking to you guys very soon. Mwah. Bye.